Buyer remorse.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Justin.
I'm Darren.
On Buyer's Remorse, we find games that are already sitting untouched or unplayed in each other's libraries and force them to give it a try for 60 minutes to see if it is a wonderful buyer's confirmation or a dreaded buyer's remorse. What game did I have you play this time?
Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion.
I think I have this one.
I think we both have it. I think we got it free somewhere, which is good because it's a $70 game.
I have no idea what this game is, though. Tell me about this game.
Really? Oh, I thought you made me play another RTS on purpose.
Is it? No, I had no idea. I think this was a make you play it before you make me play it situation.
Okay. This Sins of a Solar Empire is basically what they call a 4X game, which is a genre I'd never even heard of until I looked it up. The 4Xs are explore, expand, exploit, exterminate, which is kind of cool actually. Now that I know what it is, that's a really cool tag for a game.
You now are suddenly into RTS games that are...
God, no.
4X, no.
The only 4X I know is that Australian lager, man.
Well, that was the first thing I thought.
Yeah. Castlemaine wouldn't give a 4X for anything else. Yes. So anyway, this game was out in 2012, so it's pretty old. It's getting there. And it's $40 at base, $70 if you want it with all the DLC.
Do you have all the DLC?
No, we just got the base version, which is kind of good. Good marketing from them as well, because they can get 75% of the money if you like the game through the DLC. The developer is Ironclad Games. And they've made not a ton, but they've made a fair few games, and they're all based around these kind of RTS things. They've made like an economic strategy one. They've made a political simulator. They've done a lot of these kind of big scale things. And the basic story is aliens invade. We retaliate as a kind of unified Earth. 30 years later, we're still at war, but the coalition is kind of split up, and we've got like some rebellions like occurring who are like kind of taking the side of the aliens, or they're just out for their own benefit. And so it's our job to either it's the whole Sid Meier's Civilization thing. You got to use diplomacy or do a bunch of other stuff, or you can just flat outright kill everything in the galaxy.
That sounds good, however.
It does sound good, doesn't it?
The problem comes in that you only played for an hour.
Yes.
And typically, did you even get through the tutorial?
No.
Yeah. That is the problem with this kind of game. Yeah. There's so much information it's giving you that you probably don't actually get to play in the first hour.
And so, let me just be clear here. I played Shogun 2, Total War 2, whatever it was called.
Why do you always have some... Total War?
Yes.
Shogun 2.
Okay. Total Shogun 2 War. I played that.
I think you're doing it on purpose.
I was doing it on purpose. So yeah, I played that, and I thought that had a big tutorial. Whoa, was I wrong? The amount of detail in this game is baffling, man. You could write a book. In fact, they did. There's a 100-page manual that comes with this game. And so I spent most of the hour reading that, basically, in-game. So it's going to be riveting video.
Is it?
You're seeing right now, folks.
Is it actually in the game, or is it a file?
There's a file that you can download, a PDF. But the tutorial is basically the interactive version of that. But it's more like it's not just like a page that you'll read. They'll be like, okay, go and do this and do this and do this. So I got through about half the tutorial. But there's so much going on in this game. It blows my tiny little mind wide open. There's just far too much going on. So I learned basically how to use the UI. I learned how to attack a ship. I learned how to build stuff, go into hyperspace and find new planets, colonize them, and that's my hour. That's it. I didn't actually... So what I did was, towards the end, I was like, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll try and start a game on my own. So I got one achievement in this game, which is build your own map. So I went straight for build your own star system or something like that, whatever map creation. I didn't actually make anything. I just clicked on the thing, and then I got this blank sky, and I was like, whoa, that's complicated. So I backed out of that, because I wanted to make just like one planet, but I didn't even know how to do that. So I went into a game, and I got, destroyed in minutes. And unless you know, you got to, obviously it's like a game of chess. You don't just throw all your pieces out there and just hope for the best, which is what I did. Just like, all right, guys, let's go to the next planet with 2 ships. You know, you're supposed to stay and accrue some kind of ships and frigates and destroyers and keep building. And then the other side is building, but you got to outbuild them, and then you go and then you meet each other, which is not what I did.
Did you get the impression? I mean, you played old school Warcraft or
I never played.
Did you not?
No.
Okay. The thing is with those games, but you played Age of Empires, was it?
No, not me. Not guilty.
I swear there was one you said you did. Anyway, in a lot of the older games, you would, through the tutorial, it would really just be very basic, and it would be by playing. First, you need to build this kind of building. Here's where it is in your UI. Click on that. Click where you want it. Boom. Done. Teach you how to do it a little bit step by step. Did you get to that part of the tutorial?
Yes. No, yeah, it definitely did. Like, it definitely explained a lot about, okay, this is a, so you got a bunch of factories basically that orbit the planet, and you got like an orbital, not an orbital well, a gravity well, which is what you need to get out of the gravity range of the planet so that you can hyperspeed to other planets. And so you can build factories within that gravity well, and they will orbit the planet. They will build your stuff that you need. They'll build other things to build other things, you know, like build laboratories or military bases and so you need to, yeah, it did a great job. Like, I mean, you know how much I hated Shogun Total 2 War, but, I actually got a bit of respect for this game. A lot actually. It's really pretty. It's very cinematic when you're, kind of going into light speed or like boost away to find a new planet. There's all kind of nice animation. You got full control of the camera. You can zoom around and zoom in, and the detail on the ships are quite good. The detail on the planets are good. But I mean, yeah. So imagine in those other games where it's just more or less top down, this you can go full 360 all around. So I was getting lost, just staring into blank space going, how do I get back to my ship? It's probably some combination of buttons that I don't know. So
you like 1X.
I like 0X. Nah. Oh yeah, 1X maybe. Explore. Yes, that's the first one. Explore. Exploring is something that I really enjoyed in this game. It's very similar to like, you know, the kind of exploration bit in Mass Effect when you've got like planetary systems and you just zip between them. It's a lot like that. That's what the game looks like, kind of. Not as big. It's smaller. It's much bigger, huger scale. But it's kind of like that. Yeah, there just seems to be so much going on. There's so many things you can build. Way too many things going on.
Did you get to other planets then?
I did, yeah. I got to the next door one, basically.
What can you do on it? Because you're talking about Mass Effect. Mass Effect, basically, you go to that planet and you get to go to this tiny section of this tiny city. That's where your map is. Is that what it's like here? It's like,
so you arrive, and then hopefully there'll be some asteroids around it which you can mine. If there is a colony already set up there, then you get to the next X, which is exterminate, which is what I did. So there's like there's a rebel fleet. Take them out. And so you just get into like a long kind of extended battle where you're not really doing anything, just mouse, point, click, attack that, and then just wait and see what the results are. Once you've done that, you can conquer the planet. And that usually is like in my tutorial, it was like a bombing campaign, and you just got to wait for the stats to go down. Once the stats go down on the planet, it's yours. You can't actually visit the planet though, so it's all in space.
That's kind of what I was curious about. So do you also get a character?
No, you're just, I mean, maybe you do. Maybe there's something I missed, but you're just the commander of the fleet kind of thing.
Sometimes you get to choose a character, and that character will have different qualities. Like one is good at diplomacy, one is good at war.
Right. I think you can choose a race. There's a bunch of different races that I could find on the menu. There's, I hazard a guess, maybe 15 different aliens or human that you can be. A lot of them. There's a lot of online play as well. So a lot of people are playing this like PvP, which is definitely not for me. I don't even think I would get a chance to like join a group. They'd look at my stats and go, yeah, right, okay. Wait, come back when you've got another 1,000 hours in the game. You'll be ready for me. But yeah, as so far I've only got 1 hour and I've still got half a tutorial left to play. So
well, I think that leads into what 3 tags would you give it? You can't use 4, so you're going to have to choose 3.
Well, I'll use 4X as a tag. Yeah,
is that an actual tag?
Yeah. So basically, yeah, the Sid Meier's games, they're not classed as 4X because there's no. I was reading about this last night. There's no exterminate or there's no exploring. That's what it is. There's no exploring. You've got the whole world in front of you, and then you just deal with it. So there's like those kind of RTS games, and then there's these kinds of 4X games, which are involve the whole shebang. But yeah, so 4X RTS and like kind of maybe epic space, because it's one of these games that I think they would be epic battles. It would take hours to play a single game, I think, man. It would take forever.
A very time-intensive game.
Yeah.
Would you recommend it to me?
Well, you've got it, so I don't know. Did you like Civilization? Do you like those kind of games? Not really.
I bought Civ 3 because it was $1, I think, at one point.
Right.
I still haven't gotten into it. It just seems like so much to take in. And this is Civ 3, let alone the 6 and all the others that are out there and popular now. It just seems like a lot more than I ever really want to take on.
Yeah.
When you take on something like Civilization and you really want to play it, like you said, you're putting in hundreds of hours into that game. I've got hundreds of games I want to play. So I just haven't made that commitment yet. Maybe at some point I will. But for now, if I pick up an RTS, it's probably going to be something that's a bit shorter, a bit more war heavy, and quick. Because that's one of the things that I don't like about RTS games is spending 3 hours on one level, one campaign, and then losing and having to start that over again.
It looks like this might be the case for this game, but it might be 6 hours and then losing.
Who would you recommend this to?
Hardcore RTS fans, basically, yeah. I mean, I think this is the kind of game that people who've mastered some of the easier RTS games, and they're like, I want something more. Although, who am I? I'm no expert on this at all, so I mean, I could be completely talking out my ass right now, and other people are saying, nah, Sins of Solar Empire, that's child's play. You know, maybe there's way more labor-intensive ones than this one, but to me, it looks like, or maybe if you like those Civ kind of games, but you want to do one in space, because I don't know which other ones there are, if there's many of them, but are there? Is there a Civ space version?
I think there is.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want another space one, there you go.
Did you look at the reviews? Is this
mostly positive? Okay. Yeah, they did something recently with it the community didn't like. I don't know if they fixed it or not. There's a few negatives. Just blah, change this. They did something that some people are seeing as a bit scummy. I don't really know what it was, but I think it's mostly positive, or maybe even overwhelmingly positive. It's got a lot of great reviews, so people who are playing it are really enjoying it.
Would you say you enjoyed it enough to keep playing?
I'll say this. This is the takeaway here. I enjoyed looking at it and fiddling around with it like a kid playing with a toy that's way more complicated than, they've got those little age things on the side of a toy. It's like me as a 3-year-old playing with like that what do you call that Lego, that really tough Lego, Technic Lego. Is that what it's called? Technic? Yeah. It would be like a baby playing with Technic. That's what I got out of this experience. I did like it. It was way better than that other Shogun game. For me, personally. I can see it's got a lot of potential. If I suddenly grew a brain for these games, I would go and play this rather than the other ones, like the old school Sword and Shield stuff. I would definitely jump into this. But that's not going to happen unless some really crazy alien technology comes down and beams a brain into me.
I still say, as I've mentioned, I think, before on this podcast, the video that Extra Credits put out where they talked about the future of games and the possibility of a massive game that took all the different elements from different games so that you could play as part of a community. This would be the type of thing where you would love to go and explore and just walk around and walking sim, and you could gain stuff for the people who want to do the exploiting and the exterminating and the
politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah, so what did they say then? They want to build like the biggest game ever that has every genre inside it. So people would go off and explore, bring back materials, give it to the army crew, and then they would go out and blast things.
Something like that. So you've got your farming simulators for people who like to do farming simulators who can actually be making the crops for the army, for the people who want to go off and do the first-person shooter stuff. Office work stuff could be done through match 3 games and things of that nature. So just the idea of it can be difficult to get all your friends to want to play the same game, but maybe if you had one game that had different elements from different games that could all work together towards a common goal, then that could be a very interesting concept. And I would love to see it, but boy, would that take a lot of dev and a lot of work. It may be there, just maybe not in our lifetimes, but I would like to see it. As far as you, though, you've played it sort of for an hour, a lot of reading. Was this a buyer's confirmation or a buyer's remorse? Yeah,
I mean, even though it was a lot of reading and stuff, I still did have fun playing it, watching ships explode, and just getting a feel for this universe. It's big. There's a lot going on. Yeah, it's just a shame that I'll never get to play it properly. But yeah, it's a confirmation.
Buyer's confirmation.